Hey, this is Josh McEwen here with episode 12 of Dufferin'sSpotlight on Business, where we bring your community to you by letting you know what's in the area while highlighting the advantages of shopping local. This is a continuation of episode 11, our interview with Mike Glad of Fishing Friendzy. I hope you enjoy. Through Fishing Friendzy, Mike connects people with nature by fostering the love of fishing with those that need it most. He has established multiple youth fishing leagues across Ontario, including several in our community. In addition to this, Fishing Friendzy enables veterans, children, and others to enjoy a day of fishing out on the lake with Mike, which is made possible through corporate sponsorships. This is a unique and interesting opportunity, especially if you own a business, so be sure to listen. Mike has built an impressive business that's taken him to places such as the CNE and all over the States, all the while pursuing the noble goal of connecting people with nature and raising a young family with his wife. I found out about Fishing Friendzy on Facebook, where I saw some of the amazing work Mike was doing in our community, which stood out to me given all the negativity that we usually see on there. After meeting Mike, Rob and I understood how lucky we were to have him in Dufferin, as he is a great role model and mentor for kids, and that he really does care about fostering love for our environment. We're glad to have met Mike, and even happier that he agreed to be on our show. To find out more details about Fishing Friendzy, check out their Facebook or Instagram, and of course their website, fishingfriendzy.com. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Dufferin'sSpotlight on Business.
I think a lot of people don't realize that as well, is that all the people that are going out there and they're buying fishing licenses, hunting licenses, tags, all that money is supposed to be going back into to help maintain and conserve like our fisheries and wildlife habitats, right? So I mean, it's not all bad even in that aspect, because that's a lot of money brought in every year to go into trying to help and save things that might be endangered right now.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Well, there's a stat out there. Anglers and hunters are the biggest group together that makes an impact with their efforts in conservation than any other group in the world is anglers and hunters. And you look at some of the stuff on the internet and you see some activists and the hunters and how separate they are, right? And how the activists look at hunters and anglers as being like murderers and killers. And I mean, there are some anglers and hunters that poach, litter, and are destructive, and they're
not ethical.
Yeah, I'm against them too.
Yep.
That's horrible. You shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff, right? And then also a lot of hunters and anglers look at like all vegans as being these horrible activists. And it's like, sorry, that's not the case either.
Yeah, because you'll have people on the left, or not, I don't want to put them on matters of left and right, but
yeah, people, it's a good way to kind of visualize it for people, right?
Yeah, and you'll have examples of them making things up. And it's like, okay, just because a few people do the wrong things on both sides doesn't mean that's representative of everybody.
Yeah.
There is legitimate concerns to have with the environment, and there's the hunters and the anglers do a lot of good. They put a lot of money into the environment, and they give the resources for everyone to actually do the great things there is. Like, if we didn't have the M&R and all the fees that they collect through
licenses and all the tags,
like Rob was saying, we wouldn't be able to do the waterfront restoration.
And I think a lot of that goes back to like, I mean, you think about social media, and most of the stuff you're seeing is the extreme stuff. That's what people are watching. That's what people hear about.
That's what the news stories are, right? They want ratings. They don't care about.
You don't hear about the normal things going on in your average person. You hear about all the extreme stuff. So
stuff that'll never affect
both sides, right? I mean, most
absolutely.
people.
And, well, even for instance, like I have friends that are vegans, but they don't push their views on things. We have great conversations. I actually don't eat that much meat, at all. Like, truthfully, I don't. I change my lifestyle to affect how I care about the environment. These two groups of anglers, hunters, and vegans, and they're closer than many people think, but there is such a line drawn as if we're against each other, and I think that's total BS, because we both care so much. We're doing things in our life to protect the environment.
Once most people sit down and talk, and as long as you're a decent person, you could see each other's point of view. You could see each other's sides. You might not fully agree with each other, but you'll be like,
Absolutely.
Okay, you know what? I fully get your point of view, and they'll be like, you know what? I understand what you're doing doing too. You're not a bad person.
Yeah, and like you were saying, the far left, far right, it would be the poachers on one end.
Yep.
And the crazy activists on the other side.
That are just making stuff up.
But whether they're making stuff up, but what they're doing with their passion, okay? They are being destructive. They are being super disrespectful to humans because we're disrespecting animals. That doesn't make sense. It's very hypocritical, right? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And it's like they're trying to push their views and make viral videos by being extreme.
Exactly.
And I don't get that. But for us anglers and hunters too, and I say the hunters in a way where, because I'm not a hunter, I don't hunt, it wasn't passed down to me. My dad doesn't hunt. We use the pellet guns in the back to peg off cans and target practice, but we didn't get into hunting.
Yeah.
and I don't really think I want to, because you can't catch and release an animal. But as we were talking about before in our last meeting, there are hunters, and I learned this recently, that when they're waiting in their blind for that specific deer, whether it's a buck or a doe to harvest, they're waiting for that specific one. They'll bypass it. They're not just out there trying to shoot the first deer. You have to understand that. And I didn't understand this because I'm not a hunter, but so often it has to be even an ethical shot. If an animal's running across your sight, just because it's within like 50 yards, doesn't mean that's an ethical shot. Chances of you actually killing that animal and getting the meat are rare. You can hurt it really bad and actually kill it, but it's going to be so far from you and gone and live for the next couple days, and you're going to lose that. That's an unethical shot. So the ethical hunting, there's a whole thing to it earlier, too, right?
Selective harvesting too, right? Like, just because it's there doesn't mean you have to keep it.
Absolutely. And I think even just with the eating stuff from the other side of like veganism or vegetarian, and they're choosing not to eat meat because of, whether they're clear cutting forests to create cattle farms and then just feed more, all that kind of stuff, or even the meat, for instance, in the grocery stores compared to the meat you're hunting.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big difference in what the quality food, what you're putting in your body.
What that animal's
And I'm not a hunter, but I respect hunters because they would rather fill their freezer with an animal that they hunted that was living out in the wild than going to the grocery store and buying meat and thinking they're not doing anything. It's almost like they're just turning a blind eye by just, I'm just going to take this beef and this pork, all this different kind of meats from the stores, and every dish I make, I'm going to have a big portion of meat and a little bit of veggies, 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 7 days a week. How much animals are you taking? But you don't want to kill an animal yourself. It's like someone else does the dirty work for you. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any better.
Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not going to preach about other people's decisions in life. I'm going to try to be a leader.
Yeah, exactly.
And, make my own choices for my own life.
Do you have any role models or positive influences growing up?
My family, my brother, sister, they were a big part of my life. Growing up, my dad would take us in the canoe. I'd be sitting in the middle. My brother would be in the front seat. I'd sit on like a cooler or the bar of the canoe. Like, that's my fishing trip, right? So, yeah, my sister would come out once in a while. She was younger, too. 3 years younger than me. My brother's a year and a half older. But yeah, and my family was a big part of it. My mom was always around. She didn't really fish too much, but she was always around the cottage and big part of life. We had my uncle down the road at the cottage with his 5 kids, 4 girls and 1 boy. So the boy was, I think, 7 years younger than me. So as soon as I got my driver's license, he was my fishing buddy. He was like the guy, we would try to replicate our dads when they were young. So we would take the canoe, pack a lunch, and go to another lake and fish for literally 13, 14 hours.
Wow.
Like, literally, as soon as the sun came up, we were on the water. Even before that, and then we wouldn't come back until it was dark and the mosquitoes were crushing us, But that's what we would do. So, huge influence on my life. I had a fishing buddy. He couldn't drive, but I could. So we'd take him, and we'd be safe. We were safe. My parents always said this. They're like, you know what? You're at the cottage. You're on the water, having fun, being safe. If dinner's ready and you're still out there having a good time, don't come in for dinner. Don't worry. It'll be here when you're back. It'll be cold. You could heat it up. Or if it's all eaten, then you could make your own food. It wasn't so much pressure to get home for that family dinner. It was really cool to live that kind of lifestyle and, kind of be free up there. It was like we were very free and wild, We could go run in the bush as long as we were with our family. We had a lot of kids up there. When we went on bike rides, it was like a whole gang of us, going up the road, the dirt road, and going to the back road where there was no cottages, to this back secret lake, and we would just go catch frogs, throw some rocks in the water, and then ride our bikes back. But it was literally 8 of us, So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool growing up at the cottage like that and having those influences by the campfire and going fishing, and then just my group of friends. There's a couple of them who are really I inspired them kind of get into fishing. And so as I got older and started going fishing with other friends, like my buddy Oliver and my buddy Kevin, we go every year and just, they're obsessed with fishing like I am, right? So
awesome.
It's, it's pretty amazing. And then I had one friend who hated fishing, but he would always come in the boat with us. And he was amazing because he would always come to the cottage, always be part of that group of friends. And unfortunately, he lost his life to cancer, but he's been a huge like inspiration for me, and like really just to live my life the way I want and to do something positive. And like it's funny because he really has an amazing influence on my life now, even after like 5 years. We call him the peaceful warrior, and like he was the best at everything he did. Okay, a guy would like sports, he would kill us all at everything. And he probably could have made it huge in soccer, but in grade 9 he had cancer. They had to cut his right leg and remove it. Right leg, soccer player. Like that crushed his, he was like a phenom in grade 9. I'm not a soccer guy, I'm a hockey guy, but because of his injury, I think that's when we became really good friends, and just from then just grew up together. And like I got to have him as an influence in my life, and I was an influence on his life, so it was pretty amazing. But then when it came back, the cancer came back for him, it was kind of inspirational to see how he fought it in a different way and not really wanted to do the chemo stuff and like all that kind of stuff, but just inspirational, so we call him the peaceful warrior. Maybe just to create those conversations we would have the last couple of years, and it was those meaningful conversations. Like we've started here even off topic, but it was meaningful conversations and being more conscious individuals, and even on a spiritual level to kind of like be aware of those things that are really actually happening, whether you believe it or not, right? So
well, you never know what turns life's going to take, right? So, I mean, if you could be doing something that you enjoy doing, then at least you're living the best life you can be.
Yep. And even like with his inspiration was always trying to be the best person you can be.
Yeah, I see that coming from you too, right? Like you're trying to be a role model. You're trying to be a positive influence on people you come into contact with, right? Like you're wanting to help spread that so people go on and they do maybe not the exact same thing you are, but they're trying to be a positive person too.
Absolutely. It's so important too.
That sound indicates a commercial break. We're new, so we'll just take this time to let you know what Dufferin Spotlight actually does. Each week, we will be releasing a new episode of our show, Dufferin Spotlight on Business, which will feature a discussion with business leaders from around Dufferin County regarding their businesses and accomplishments. The achievements of small business leaders largely go unnoticed, but it is our goal to highlight and recognize them, as these are the people who keep small communities like ours alive. In addition to bringing more attention to the businesses in Dufferin, we will share the advantages of shopping local, so be sure to check back each week to see the amazing things people are doing through their businesses. To find out more about what we do, and to stay updated on the other shows we will be producing, be sure to check us out at Dufferin'sSpotlight.ca. So would you like to discuss any personal struggles you've overcome?
Personal struggles? I'm kind of going through one right now. It's transition, right?
Yeah.
Like I for 15 years, I had a steady paycheck coming paying my bills, and I chose to leave it to follow my passion. And I was pretty ready for it business-wise, but at the same time, like I have a passion, I have a vision that I want to get to, and I have a lot of great ideas that are in play right now that we're operating these different programs. We've come so far already, but I always feel like we're not even close to where I really want to be.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy to see that the transition, how difficult it can be at times. Like we just finished the summer season of our youth fishing league. We don't have that youth fishing league income coming in, right?
Yeah.
Or even that content. We already posted all our photos for each league. There's been champions, great stories, right? Like I encourage you to go on our social media and follow those stories. Go back and see some of the youth fishing leagues and the amazing stories and our SAFE program and some of our exhibit stuff that we've done, the outreach we've done. But it's so important to kind of go through those transitions, those tough times, because it really helps build character.
Yeah.
And like I've always felt that way. But I mean, I have 4 children, amazing children at home, a wife at home. Like we got 2 dogs too, by the way. And so our house is crazy, and there's a lot of responsibilities, personal responsibilities that I have to uphold. And going through this transition, it was definitely something like, as much as you can prepare for it, you really can't prepare for it.
Exactly.
No, you can't,
you're never gonna know what's going to happen, right?
So I've had to do some Joe jobs here to kind of make a little bit of extra money and do things like that. But I love being in our community, and I've reached out to our community in a couple of different ways where people have been just amazing. Like we really live in a beautiful, helpful community.
Yeah.
And what you guys are doing on that note is like really amazing. Like you guys are highlighting different companies, different people in our community, and you guys are a big light. Like I love how it's Dufferin Spotlight, but you guys are doing such an amazing job and such important work.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
So I really appreciate what you guys are doing on a whole note. but also I really appreciate having me out here to talk about Fishing Friendzy, who I am, and like my family. And
I mean, it makes us happy to have someone on like you, like family oriented. You're trying to help people.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, this is why we do it, right? We get to meet people like you, and it's amazing in itself. So,
and our community can tell exactly what kind of person you are. I mean, the reason I know about you is from seeing you on Facebook. People seeing, like, they're always giving you shout outs. Like, you've got quite the following on there, man. Like, the community is receptive to people that are awesome. And you've done some pretty amazing things.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And I really try to value and show how much I appreciate the people who have come and volunteered at our exhibit, their families, the people who come and sign up for our programs, because ultimately, like, you know what? I'm not going to beg for money, this kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to appreciate the people who are there and who are helping and who are involved and who believe in me and my vision, because that's really important to me. It gives me a sense of I'm on the right path. You know what I mean? And that it's just reconfirming that what I'm doing with my life, what I chose to do with my life, and what I'm choosing to do in our community is the right thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I try to be so righteous and all that kind of stuff. And it is difficult to try to be super righteous and ethical at the same time run a business and make money.
Yeah. Yep,
it's like an internal struggle, but sometimes where it's like, I just want to give. And it's hard to, you know, make a successful business out of that when ultimately our world revolves around making money.
Exactly.
You know, so... yeah, that's a big struggle right now, going through the transition and trying to make money when I have that internal conflict.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, I know with more people that I talk to, the more people who want to be involved and creating different kind of programs so that people can get involved easier, whether it's through sponsorship or, I mean, we're not a nonprofit, so it's kind of hard to like ask for donations and stuff. But when people believe in what you're doing, I find that they will step up and do whatever. I've had a lot of rods and reels donated to me, and a lot of people referred to me because of what we're doing. And they're like, oh, kids and fishing, Mike's glad, Fishing Friendzy.
Exactly.
I was like, I like how I'm getting that reputation.
Yeah.
And I'm very honored to have that reputation in our community, in my personal life, all my friends and family know it, and even in like the fishing industry, the outdoor. Like, it's not, I don't look for awards or like praise. That's not me. But obviously when you get that kind of stuff, it really does make you feel good.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so I was nominated last year for an award from the Credit Valley Conservation Authority for, I think it was something along the lines of like teaching, mentoring, and educating our community about conservation.
Nice.
I don't know exact wording, but it was such an honor just to be nominated. I didn't win, which is okay. I mean, Dr. Crayfish, it was his name, he won. Which I was like, at least it was a doctor, right? But he was an awesome guy. Like, so yeah, his nickname is Dr. Crayfish because he studies crayfish, and by the Norval Dam on the Credit River shed, he teaches students about the different crayfish and the crustaceans and stuff in the waterways. Like I said before, I grew up snorkeling and trying to catch crayfish at the cottage, and I was just so intrigued with what he did. And to me, it wasn't about winning, but it was such a great experience, and it made me feel so good just to get nominated for something like that, right? But yeah, it's been nice, like even being on your show and actually you like contacting me was like awesome. Someone else like saw who I am and wants to like talk to me, right?
It's impressive.
Like, and then just another one was Keep Canada Fishing did an interview with me over the summer and highlighted me as a champion of recreational fishing and our program, which was this huge honor. And like, I'm not saying this to say, oh my gosh, look at all the things I have, but I'm saying it because it's very important to show others how much you appreciate them.
Yeah.
And when you get things like that, like even for me, I probably don't do it enough, you know, to the people who volunteer for me and run our leagues and come out to the events and give up their time. Sometimes it's volunteers, sometimes I'm creating jobs, but as a business owner, I can only do so much.
Yeah.
But I so appreciate these people for coming out and helping teach, helping mentor. In their own unique way, they're such amazing mentors themselves, like to these kids, right? And it's something that I can't do. I have my own way of doing things, right? And they have theirs, and having kind of like a team that continues to mentor and help more kids and families get into fishing. But the bigger thing is getting outdoors, connecting them to nature. I couldn't do it without them. So thank you, everybody.
So I mean, with everything going on, like, do you have any big plans for expansion, or like what do you got in the works?
our youth fishing league is one of the main focuses where we want to expand. So we're looking for league operators. We're currently hiring for league operators in different communities. So like I said before, we have a league operator in Midland. We have one in Hamilton. We are looking for different locations that want to have a youth fishing league in their community. So whether it's Barrie or Timmins or even outside of Ontario, outside of Canada, like I look at where our programs can go and where they can expand is going North American wide, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we have done that with our traveling exhibit. We literally have been North America coast to coast.
Yeah.
We're not like going crazy like we're on tour and I'm away from my family for like 5 months at a time. But we have been to LA once. We've been to New Jersey. We've been to Georgia, and we've been to Saskatchewan. Cool. And so like we've been a few places on the map. We really like touched a lot of places, right?
Yeah.
But with our youth league specifically, I really want to make that expand out so that it's more common in communities all over North America, and so that we can have like regional championships where the winner of the winners of each league kind of battle to rise up to national championship, where hopefully we get some partners on board where we can create a great scholarship fund for them so that they can have a better future, right? So like that's the idea of the youth league, is to bring it to the level where we can have some cool competitions and like bigger, better, more to give.
I mean, if you can get up to that point where someone could be getting a scholarship out of that, that's a huge thing, right? Like that'd be amazing. That's a great future plan to have, because I mean,
you already do so much good.
Yeah, I mean, if you can give someone
there's more to do though, right?
Doing something they love, that's so. With you saying that too, like I think that'd be a good time to touch on this. When you're looking at ambassadors and volunteers, what requirements and qualifications are you looking at for these people to have?
Well, requirement is police checks.
Yeah.
Dealing with kids, got to get vetted and make sure that they check out that way. What we're really looking for, like, they don't even have to have really any fishing knowledge to come to our exhibit or our youth fishing league to be a part of it, because they can be a great mentor to help the kids not get tangled or be safe, or just have someone to talk to and adventure with. You know what I mean? And they can learn as they go. So we want to train them. It's like in the field training. By week 2 or 3, those people who had no fishing experience, those adults or teenagers who've come volunteer, they're taking fish off because we taught them how to do it properly and how to handle the fish properly, right? What we're really looking for is just people who are positive, fun people where the kids would have a fun time being around, right?
Yeah.
So qualification, it's not about schooling. It's not so much about knowledge, it's about what kind of quality people we're having in our exhibit at our youth fishing league. Part of our organization, how we grow it, is we really want good people that are in there for the right reasons. Like, it's okay. I want to give people chances to, showcase themselves, whether they want to get sponsored by fishing companies, whether they want to have a product that they want to kind of showcase. If they're there for the right reasons, I have no problems kind of letting people utilize my platform for themselves. And I've done this at the C&E. The last year we did the C&E, we had a seminar stage. It was actually a boat, like a fishing boat, and we had our seminar speakers go on the boat and talk to the crowd. We did 3 a day for 18 days. And so 3 a day, we had some really amazing professional speakers in the fishing industry come out and tell stories and talk to the crowd, mostly families and kids who have little fishing knowledge, and teach them about fishing and to teach them about angling, different styles of angling, all kinds of stuff, maybe some stories of them. But we also gave a lot of young adults, teenagers, their very first chance to go and speak and be on that stage. And we helped them prepare their speech and their presentation, and we got them up on stage and we allowed them to do it for the first time. So it's like, I really take pride in giving people opportunities like that. Even if I'm scared to get up on stage myself, I can still help motivate someone else to do it. Yeah. And it's funny enough is I did the very last one because someone bailed, and it was like, who else is going to do it? And I was like, well, this is a great opportunity. And I didn't tell anybody else I was doing, because I actually hired someone to operate the seminar stage. So they were running it, they were scheduling it. And so I went up there, I just kind of grabbed the mic, and then I was like, all right, it's me, I'm doing it. And I just started talking about why we're doing it. Exactly what I'm talking to you guys about right now is why I'm doing it, what we're doing it for, kind of creating those opportunities. And it was amazing, and turned out to be the last one we did at the C&E, because the next year they didn't invite us back. Not for anything we did. But they had a bad year the year before, that year that we were doing the seminars, because they had the strike. The union went on strike and they were picketing. So their sales were so down. 3 of those 18 days, free admission for 3 days. That was crazy. So that's how desperate they were to just get people in to make money.
Yeah.
Right? To go on the rides and buy the stuff. Yeah. So they let people in for free. So that's why I believe we weren't there, because we were for hire, right? So our exhibit was hired by the CNE for 7 years. And then the 8th year was this past year, 2019. So we didn't go. And it was like a blessing in disguise, though. Like I said, like I like to look at things in a positive light. So we were able to really focus on our youth fishing leagues and develop a youth fishing league to the point where we have a really good quality program where we have that teaching, right? And like, so it was a blessing in disguise, and it even allowed me to get up to my cottage and spend some time on that boat with my family, which Advanced Marine really encouraged me to do too, right? It wasn't just about business and promoting. It was getting out with the kids. And like my daughter, she's 8 years old, and she was never really into fishing, but she loved going on adventures with me. She would even literally say, "Oh, Daddy, I want to go in the boat, or I want to go canoeing, but don't bring your fishing rod." And it would eat at me. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, come on, please." But I wanted to spend time with her. I wanted to get her out in nature. And so I would. And it was hard on me, right? But at the same time, like, we would go on adventures and we'd explore and we'd pretend there's monsters in this little cave of the bushes. And we'd, go. It was so much fun with her, though, right? So she got a new experience of being on a boat. Not these canoes or kayaks that we normally have. Is we're in a big boat, right? A bass boat. Had a 115 horsepower motor on the back. It had an electric motor on the front where you could literally, like, all these gadgets on it. It was pretty crazy. But it was so much fun that we were able to get up to the cottage more and spend time with my parents. They're retired and they live at the cottage for 10 months of the year.
Nice.
So family's so important. I love being up there. I want my kids to be up there all the time. Like, if I could have it, I would send them up there for 3 months of the summer every year. Anybody in my family, that would be the place to send them. Like how I grew up, right? Yeah. 3 months of the year, almost 3 months of the year. It was... I'd be up there the whole summer. I was just the best. But so.
Hey, it's Josh with another commercial break. Still no real ads, but I just thought I'd let you know that I don't know my passwords. That stops me from writing them down, sharing them, or worst of all, reusing the same password for my banking, email, and on that weird website that I'll never return to that will most likely be breached next month. This keeps me secure while making my life more convenient. To figure out how you can do the same, be sure to check out the articles on our website, Dufferin'sSpotlight.ca. Now back to the show, Dufferin Spotlight on Business. So have you exceeded your original goals?
You know what? No and yes. It kind of comes down to, like, if I think of everything that we've achieved with the company, okay, we've done quite a lot. But at the same time, in my head, where I want to take it, I'm like, we're not even like scratching the surface kind of deal. Like I really think that big. And I guess it's amazing to have a great wife who can ground you at times, but also helps grow that vision and be creative and not give you any like parameters kind of deal. So she encourages me to think big, but then brings me down to size and says, okay, well, this week, this is what we need done. Like, I get you want to bring it to, like, that kind of big vision.
Everything
Walt Disney World. You know what I mean? Like,
time frame, though,
But so I'm not really satisfied or happy with how far it's come, but at the same time is like, I am.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about that before, and that's how you have to be. Because, I mean, if you're completely satisfied where you are, that's when people tend to get, whether it be lazy or a little lax. They're like, you know what, I'm comfortable. Yeah. But when you're always thinking of something new, that's the way that it should be. Because that's how you're going to keep it going after, right? Like, you can't always keep things the same. Like, stuff will work for so long, but without new ideas and stuff, maybe some people will get bored. But with you, it seems like you're always thinking of something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, I mean, I'd like to tell you more about, like, my future plans, but I literally have, like, this was one of the main things I had to do is in the last 2 years. I literally have like 50 other plans, projects I'm working on. But if I'm working on all 50, I'm taking a little bit of time and effort for each one. I'm never really getting like one of those projects off the ground. Yeah. So I had to shrink it down to focus on just like 3. Yeah. And that was the exhibit, the youth league, and the SAFE program. So that was kind of the main thing, right? So, and those, we've really been improving, making better, and bringing that quality that we want into those programs. But there's a lot of little things on the back end, like a website and our social media. And well, one thing I haven't even mentioned is our kids club.
Yeah.
So our kids club, the idea was to create a kids club email newsletter, and so that the parents at all these shows that we're going to, we can get their emails because they want to learn more about fishing.
Yeah.
And they want to learn more about the opportunities that we're providing, whether it's a program for our youth fishing league or another event that we're going to be at that they can come and visit.
Yeah.
So we wanted to create an online newsletter, an email newsletter. So we started gathering some emails from the people that came to the C&E in the last like 2 years. And it was literally like a lined pad and paper with like scribbled on it, kids club sign up, email, name, and like city. So we actually can get some demographics of who's coming to our shows and where they're coming. We have people from Russia who are part of our kids club and some Japan. Because we were at the C&E, right? So it's such a like a main hub of multicultural people, tourism, traveling people that come into the C&E, come to us for some reason, and then all of a sudden we got their email and they're part of our kids club, right?
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. So we have people all over the world who are, it's not a huge kids club because we just started like the last couple of years of the C&E, but it's an amazing way where we can continue to spread our knowledge. But even focusing more on that, I'd like to see it where it's an email every month, like a monthly newsletter where it's really content packed with education, different kind of contests even. So it gives the kids club members kind of that little bit extra. So if they want us early bird special, sign up for our youth leagues or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So kind of have fun with it, right? Even, well, one thing that's in the works is a YouTube channel. I've always been a little bit shy on the video front, on stage, even in front of a microphone, but I like talking to people.
I think you got the personality for it.
But I'm growing out of it. And I realized one thing that I realized, and this only came to me in the last like year, is the fears that we have to face them. And especially for me and what I'm doing and what message I have, if I don't face that specific fear of being in the spotlight, the Dufferin spotlight,
no pun intended,
then I can't get my message out to people.
Yeah.
Right. And so even growing my audience on social media, like I don't have a huge following, but they're very connected. They're people who really want to hear from me, and I give them some content, but I need to be giving them more. And I understand that. So a YouTube channel, I think, fits perfectly because then we could create different segments. So there's different, it's not just me talking, not just me teaching, but we could do some fun stuff too of me fishing. Or another thing, I really love snorkeling. So when I'm at the cottage, at the end of the summer, I can hold my breath for like almost a minute and a half. The beginning, it's probably like 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
But like you train yourself with that. But I like holding my breath and going underwater. And I got the GoPro, and I love taking like footage underneath the water and capturing some of those, like whether it's little shiners, little school of minnows going by, or like a big bass or a small little pike in the shallows. Like there's so many cool things, or even a snapping turtle.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so much cool things that you can capture under there. And I have like a whole bunch on my GoPro right now, and I haven't released any of it, right? So even like little underwater fisheye view segments of what's going on under the water would be pretty cool to kind of come up with. So I have all these ideas for a YouTube channel, maybe even make it into like a TV show. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Who knows where it would go? But I want to get that content for parents and kids and educate them on what they want to hear. So even just asking our social media followers, what kind of information do you want to hear? So I just did a poll recently about like, what kind of education do you want to hear from us?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff you want to listen to or see? And so
I'm sure the kids would love to see the fish like down their natural habitat.
yeah,
like this is what
yeah.
they're doing down
that's
there.
Even the thing, like my kids, YouTube.
Yeah.
Like they could watch, to me, it's the dumbest stuff. Like a kid playing with a toy or unboxing a toy. They're watching this, they could watch it for hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this? And then as a parent, I'm looking, is this even good quality stuff? What kind, like, is it good content? Is it safe for my kid?
Yeah.
But then I'm looking, and it's like 2 million views. And it's like, how, what, why, where, when, you know? And
Yeah, why is this happening?
but to me, yeah, it's crazy. But at the same time, it's like I look at my business and it's like, okay, well, how's another way where we can connect to these parents and kids and continue to educate them?
Yeah, instead of getting them to buy toys.
Yeah, like I said, I'm 37, so Facebook is my like platform, not so much Instagram. Like we still share Instagram stuff. But that's like for the younger generations, right?
Yeah.
but YouTube even, right, is something that's kind of new as well, and I want to get in there with our content because again, it's I have a lot of stuff I can teach, but I think that mentorship, that inspiration, being a role model, and what I have to say, my message is more important than anything. And like I don't want to push my message or push fishing on people. That's not me. That's not what I want to do. But if it's there for the people who want to listen, I think that's the way I need to go, right? Yeah. So YouTube channel coming out, who knows when, but it should be not too long from now. I work with, but I also have great friendships with some really amazing people. One who runs a great website, Live to Fish, and he's a videographer. He's done some of our promo work for our youth fishing league.
Nice.
Daniel. And I work with another guy who's a great friend of mine too, Dave Chong, who is like one of the professionals of our fishing industry in Canada.
Nice.
He's been on like the national fishing team, and who's just a really good dude, and both of them are. And so like little things like that, they got a great program where they're trying to teach more people about fishing too, and it fits perfectly together.
Oh yeah.
So we'll be doing a lot of new things together in the future, especially with like that video technical kind of stuff. Like for me, technology, like I don't know if it hates me or something. It's got like something against me. Like always, like I'm not really good with stuff, right? Like I could edit a video, but I'm not great at it. And like even sending out like a MailChimp newsletter, like oh my gosh, whoever's getting them, I hope you like them, because you don't know what I go through to get those out, okay? So I'm sure my YouTube stuff will be just even more struggles, but it needs to happen. And if I have the right people who get technology the way like some do, like I mean, you guys got amazing little setup here, like, and you know what I mean, like, but it's great because you guys knew what you were doing and you got the quality.
This is all Josh.
but you're creating good quality stuff, right? Like if you don't have these mics, if it's just your phone and we're putting on speakerphone, like what kind of quality are you getting, right? So that's the same kind of like mindset. Like I don't want to do something half.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Halfway.
Yeah, exactly.
I like to put the filter on there and not say the other word.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing, right? Is I want to give quality stuff, and at the same time, my message is sometimes you just have to do it. Instead of planning, talking, sometimes you just have to do it. And really, that's how we got into it, is we just did it. And then we kind of tried to figure it out as it was happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, you learn from your mistakes and you grow along the way. Like, I'm learning how to run a business.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for business. Well, I did, but I didn't. You know what I mean? And it's something new that you're learning. So same with technology stuff. Like, even like planning a family. It was like, when do you have kids? It's never going to be the right time. You just kind of do it and then you adjust after kind of deal, you know, like, I don't know, for most people, right? But
yeah, I got one coming February 15th.
Oh,
so I mean,
congrats.
Yeah, thanks. It's one of those.
Blessing.
It's just like, you know what? We're going to go with it.
See
where it takes us.
That's awesome though. Even like when we had our first child and she was coming, and I like never had any experience holding babies. It was always like my little cousins. It was always like, okay, can you play with mini sticks yet? Okay, now I'll play with you. Yeah. Like other than that, if your baby's you diaper, that kind of stuff, it was always like, no, I'm going to go do something else.
Fish.
So yeah, right. But then when I had our daughter, Kyla, it was one of those things where she was coming and I was like, I have no experience, but I'm so ready for this to learn.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where I was just like, mentally, I was like, you know what? Who cares if I mess up? Like, it doesn't matter. You know what? We're parents. What experience you get as a parent?
You're going to mess up.
Until you have a child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to kind of just jump in. And it just same as business is like, you just do it. Like, jump in and just do it, because if you don't, that's how so many great ideas don't come to life, because you don't take action. Like, yeah, you need good ideas, but you also need action.
Yeah.
And you need to become that great father or that good businessman or whatever you have to adjust to, right? So like, I don't know, that's something that I've been learning, and now we're on 4 when we had twins, so we went from 2 to 4, but
just double down.
But yeah, but like But it's funny because now I'm so confident as a dad. Like, I pride myself on being awesome. I took the 4 kids, my wife, I told her to stay home. I took 4 kids, 2 dogs, and the boat up to the cottage for a 5-hour trip. Okay, so it's 5 hours to get to the cottage. Okay, my parents are there, so they can help out with the kids once I get there. But that drive, just imagine that drive. Okay, so, and for me, dude, I'm good with it. I'm in tune with, like, I run a business. I'm an entrepreneur. I left my job. I'm pretty much like a stay-at-home dad. So I'm in tune with how my kids are. And I'm really good at that. So the twins, they woke up, they got fed, they played for a bit, they were ready for their bottle and nap. By that time, I had the car fully packed, the boat hooked up, the dogs were fed, they went, and then we were ready. The big kids were ready. They just wanted to go so bad to the cottage anyway. So they were kind of like, why are you loafing, Dad? So got everybody into the car, and then by the time I'm driving, the babies are sleeping for a good 2 hours, so I can get a good, like, straight 2-hour drive before they even wake up. And then it's just a matter of, playing it by ear. If you get 3 hours in, that's great. If it's only an hour and you got to stop and, change a diaper or like get them out and whatever, then that's what you got to do, right? So there's a couple pit stops along the way that we would stop at and enjoy nature. Like, I try to pick those pit stops that are beautiful by a river, where a little pit stop by a river where you can, there's a bathroom, there's this, there's that, and you spend half hour at the pit stop. Yeah, it takes a lot longer to get up to the cottage now, but like, it's things like that I don't know, I take pride in, like being just a good dad, being an involved dad, but also being like, that in tune with my kids. And not always, we get to go through our crazy times, right, where it's just you want to get your kids and like lock them in a room, but but yeah, you know what, parenting is something different that everybody does their own way. And dude, you're gonna be awesome, man.
Thanks.
You're gonna be awesome. It's the best thing in the world.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's like a beautiful struggle.
Yeah. No, it will be.
It's a beautiful struggle.
It's one of those. I'm always a guy that like someone's trying to pass off the baby. I'm like, oh no, I gotta go over there. Yeah.
Okay, my brother, his first time really holding a baby, and he didn't know what the hell to do with it. He was kind of like stiff armed, like,
that'd be me.
What am I doing? And then the first time he held our oldest, she farted on him, and he's like, oh, she farted on my arm. That was amazing. But like, and the most he's so awkward with the baby, holding her, like, do I hold her head, do I hold here? And it was just so funny, like, watching it. Even today, he's been through Kyla 8, Caden 4, and the twins, and he doesn't know how to hold them, right? Like, it's so funny. He's still in that mentality of, okay, Caden can play mini sticks, all right, I'm with him the rest of the night, like,
yeah. All right, you lead, let's go. Yeah.
Can't wait to play with the little dinky cars and, like, Legos with the Caden, because the babies just scare him.
Yeah. Me, man. Hey, it's Josh again with another commercial break. On top of that, knowing my passwords, I also don't pay for antivirus programs like Norton, Kaspersky, or McAfee. Despite this, I feel safer than if I did have them. To see why, check out the articles on our website, Dufferin'sSpotlight.ca. Now back to our show, Dufferin Spotlight on Business. So what will happen after you leave the company, as far as like an exit strategy or a succession plan?
Yeah, no, I think ultimately it's a company where I just want to pass it down to my kids if they want to take it. You know what I mean? And kind of have that kind of succession plan where it's built into someone who grows up in my company is someone who takes it over, someone who the right fit. And you know what? Maybe it'll be my daughter, my son, or my other daughters, who knows? Maybe it won't be any of them, right? Like, I'm also that type of parent who's like, I loved hockey, I loved fishing. If my kids grow up and they don't like either, I'm okay with that, because they're their own person.
Yeah.
They have their own things that we will bond with and connect with, and they'll have their own passions in life, and I want them to follow that. I don't want to live vicariously through my kids. I don't respect that way of parenting. I'm sorry, I don't. You lived your life, you made your choices, live with it. Your kid is someone different. It's a different being. It's not you. They have some genetics that are from you, but really, they have their own journey in life.
Yeah.
Help them find it. Help them embrace that journey and feel confident enough to follow it.
Yeah. That's your job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to
like,
go through with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So my succession plan is also like, I look at retirement kind of in a different way too, right? Like if you're doing something you love and you're passionate about, what, like, retire what?
Yeah.
Like, what if you're doing something you love? That's your life. So I'm currently trying to create that life that I want to live and I don't want to like get out of, you know what I mean? Like, and maybe there is a time where I don't want to head the operations of our youth league or be there all the time, right? Like I've had to put in my time with the company and building the company, and at the exhibit I'd be there for 3, 4, 5 days before the show even starts, setting up by myself till midnight while my wife's like, okay, I need you at home, and okay, a couple more minutes, I'll finish this and I'll get home. Where, you know what I mean? Like there's so many little things behind the scenes where it's like I put in so much, not that it makes me deserve anything more than anybody else, but you know what, building that company, that's how it's been built.
Yeah.
And to pass it to someone the right way or have it like live on, it's almost like I look at the succession plan or like even my life is when I pass away, what do I want to be remembered for? I don't really care if I'm remembered. I want my programs and like what I've created to continue to flourish when I'm gone, not to die off because I'm not here anymore. So same with the company. It doesn't really matter if it goes to someone in my family. I mean, obviously I'd love it to go to someone in my family, but ultimately it doesn't matter as long as it stays alive, as long as it keeps growing and creating positive memories for people with our SAFE program or good experiences that change our future with the kids at our youth fishing league, you know?
It's got to be with people that feel the same way you do about it, right?
Yeah,
so it'll continue
absolutely.
to go on because, and that's the thing with a lot of businesses. I mean, if it goes to someone that just thinks about the dollar aspect of something, or they don't put in the same as a previous owner, we've talked about that before. I mean, a lot of times it doesn't work out. You see great businesses fall because it's not their baby, right? Or they don't care about it, and
they care about the financial, like Billy Madison.
Yeah,
Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
but luckily with your business, you're developing a bunch of candidates to take over. Because I mean, you have a bunch of kids growing up with you, taking on your passion, and they're learning all the things that you're teaching them. Like, so I mean, unlike a lot of businesses, you're actually quite fortunate because you have a bunch of people that you're training. Essentially,
it's built on passion, right? So I mean,
absolutely. Well, actually, one of my slogans is "Passion is our natural resource."
That's a good one.
It's perfect.
That's a good one.
I appreciate that.
That's a really good one.
Even go into the way that, like you said before, too, which I think is an awesome thing. When I asked you, the requirements and qualifications for ambassadors, you said, like, it really doesn't matter what your education, and the only requirements is that you're fit to be around kids and that you enjoy doing it, you're a fun person to be around for the kids, and basically everything you said is that you have to be fit to give these kids a good time learning to fish.
Positive experience more than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like, our programs are set to have these kids kind of grow up through the ranks and start to be the mentors. It's almost like a summer camp, right? Or like you look at like my sister grew up in dance, and like once they were a certain age, a lot of those young girls turning into young women were becoming the instructors and the teachers, right?
100%.
So I look at that too, and we want to kind of replicate those kind of things. So that, along with having an ambassador team of amazing people who have volunteered for us, put time in, it's not just once, it's they kind of have to earn their stripes, and we're kind of reconstructing our ambassador team program. But we've had great ambassadors who've been with us for a couple years, and then they kind of fade away, and like nothing bad between us, is just they fade away and they're on their way, whether they're working, just making money, doing like construction or whatever they're doing, or if they're taking a different route with the fishing industry stuff. Doesn't matter to me. Like I know that they've learned a lot from me and our company and teaching kids. Maybe teaching kids wasn't their thing. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why they grew. But having that ambassador group that can continue to help build our programs, be there to support and be trained. So having that training modules to teach these ambassadors and instructors, I think is a really important goal for us to kind of improve and grow upon, so that once the kids become the volunteers, high schoolers, right, helping out, and then they can take our course to grow as an instructor and an ambassador, right? And our ambassadors, some of them are ambassadors because they're great online, or some are great in the fishing industry and they have so much knowledge and they're well respected and they have a big name in the fishing industry. And we don't gravitate to them and ask them to be our ambassadors because of their popularity. It's because who they are. They're good people and they believe in what we're doing. That's plain and simple. We're just lucky to have someone who might have a big name, right?
Yeah.
But we have a father-son who's part of our team. The son was with us since he was, I think, 12 or 13, and now he's like a young adult, and he's still coming to our shows and our events and helping out.
Awesome.
And so that's part of our team. And we have a lot of women part of our ambassador team, amazing women who are making a lot of changes in the fishing industry by being ambassadors of the sport for women and just getting more women outdoors. And I mean, geez, man, they can do anything.
And it's fun like that too.
I
mean, like my wife
say that right now.
Like my wife loves to fish, and when we go out, it's always been like a competition, right? Like sometimes she kicks my ass, and then other times I get the biggest fish or the most fish that day, and I'm like,
that's awesome.
Who got the biggest fish today? But then, like I said, there's many times where it's like I go home and just like, she just throw it in my face. I mean, we don't like. It's never like in a bad way. It's just
I think
we got.
I grew up fishing like that too. Yeah. It didn't matter who I was fishing with or what amount of time we were fishing, but it was always a competition. Like, I got 5 to 4, and it was always like the number of fish and also who gets the biggest, right? Like that, we just kept score, like a mental score. Some days we lost count of who was catching the most. Some days, right? But we always kept score. Like at the end of the day, I wanted to know if I beat my dad or if he beat me. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things. And same with my wife. Like when we would go out fishing when we were dating, and like she'd bring a book with her and read. She wasn't so into fishing, but she wanted to spend time with me. And so like I would go out fishing, and I kind of actually ruined fishing for her. Okay, and I'll tell you the story. I think that I can pinpoint the trip that did it, and it was one of those times. Okay, I'm obsessed with fishing. I want to keep fishing. Okay, she just wants to be with me. She's not too into fishing. She'll cast here and there, read her book, cast here and there, just so I take her on this one adventure. Never been down to this lake. We see this lake from the highway, and there's a little stream that goes into it. So all right, cool, we're gonna park, we're gonna get the canoe out, we're gonna go down the stream. So you get to the stream, we start paddling. There's a little stream, not much fish in there, so I'm kind of paddling more than fishing, and the deer flies and horse flies are just swarming us, crushing us. Half hour in, and there's like 50 dead ones on the bottom of the canoe near me, and I'm losing the battle. Okay, that's how bad it was, right? And so she's like, okay, do we have to go to this lake? Like, we're almost there. I just have to go over this little, like the railroad tracks, over this little hump, portage a little, and then go to the lake and see if this fish is as good as it looks, right? Yeah, we got there, couple casts in, and I was like, okay, we got to go. It was like 2-hour trip of just getting mauled by horse flies and deer flies. And so after that trip, she was like, you're insane. I am not going fishing with you like that ever again. Like, what are you doing, right? So yeah, that was the trip that really. So then I had to ease her back in, and she would come on little fishing trips. Like if it was 2 hours max, that was the plan. 2 hours. So 2 hours would be up, and I'd be paddling back to the cottage. I'd be casting still, and she'd be like, "Why are you casting?" I go, "Because we're still on the lake. I'm paddling, like we're getting there." Or if I'm using an electric motor, I'm getting there. She's like, "No, like your 2 hours is up, dude. Like I know what last cast means. One more cast. I know what that means. It's another 200 casts. You know what I mean?" So
I've been there before, where last cast turns into my wife on her phone with an angry face, and it's pitch black out, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I guess it's time to go home now. It's like we were supposed to leave 3 hours ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
One more cast.
I know that look.
One more cast.
Hey everyone, this is our last commercial break. If you made it this far, thank you, and I have to assume you found this interesting. To keep up to date with new episodes, be sure to follow or subscribe to us on your preferred listening channel. We are available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And of course, you can find all of our shows and more on our website, Dufferin'sSpotlight.ca. If we are not already on your preferred platform, be sure to let us know through our website, and we will do our best to get on it. We prioritize accessibility to our shows, so we will do our best to make it happen. That's it for commercials, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Dufferin Spotlight on Business.
So yeah, my obsession kind of ruined fishing for her, tainted her a little bit, but she's slowly getting back into it. But I think like my daughter too, like they're not super into fishing. If my daughter and my wife come out on the boat now and take a few casts, and then it's more about the boat ride and the scenery, then that's what it is. And I have to adjust my game to that because, I don't want to make them mad, but my obsession inside is like, oh, that's a nice looking log. I bet you there's a big bass under there. Like, so.
It just means you're going to have to start getting a down rig in, then everyone's happy, right?
Yeah. I just troll. Hey, we're going for a boat ride. Why are we only going 5 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Because the fish are at 30 feet.
I mean, we're enjoying the scenery. Yeah. So I gotta ask, I know we've went over a lot. Is there anything that you'd like to bring up? Maybe something we missed or you feel is important you want to touch on again? I know there's a lot that's important to you.
I know I kind of spill out my heart. So a lot of the stuff that you've heard today is just like, it's raw, it's real. You know what I mean? Like, I don't try to hide things. I don't try to hide things, but I do, like, even when I'm around kids, like, if I'm around adults, my hockey buddies, like, yeah, you can swear a few times here and there, whatever. But like, I could put the filter on like that. I'm really good at it. I'm very aware of what I'm saying around certain people.
Yeah.
And it's something that just, I don't know, be conscious, be aware of how you're affecting others. And this is like a life lesson. It's not even like about fishing, right? It's just how we treat each other, how we interact with each other. And I guess it even comes back to why I'm doing this is connecting kids to nature creates a relationship between that child and our natural environment. When you have a relationship with someone, it's hard to give them the middle finger, have a fight with them. When you're friends with someone, when you have a relationship with them, it's hard to disrespect them because you like that person. You have that relationship. Same with our relationship with nature. If we have that connection and that respect for nature, it's a lot harder for us to just chuck our McDonald's bag out the window of our car without thinking of the repercussions that everything runs downstream, right? So it's that way of thinking is why I do this, and like really trying to connect kids to nature has that effect on us, right? Is that if they don't have that connection and they didn't get it anywhere, they didn't have the opportunity to get that connection anywhere, whether it's through fishing or whatever else, then they're going to treat our natural environment like garbage because they don't care. It's that stranger that wanted to merge in front of them, you know what I mean, on the highway. And it's so easy to give them the finger and put blame on that other person, right? Like, oh, nature, it's raining again, or you know what I mean? Like, or bugs, oh my gosh, bugs. Like, I want to raise my kids that, like, yes, you dress for bugs, like all that kind of stuff. Prepare for nature. Mother Nature can be crazy at times, right?
Yeah.
But we live in an amazing country, an amazing province where we're like really fortunate. We don't have like crazy natural disasters like the rest of the world kind of does. We get winter, but I mean, winter can be a great playground.
Yeah.
You know, we even do ice fishing events. So you learn how to ice fish workshops. So we'll be doing them at Island Lake. Like, and it's amazing to be out in nature. I don't like being cold, but if I dress warm enough, like snow is awesome. Like, it's amazing. Even just nature in the winter is pretty cool because even with the snow on the ground, you could see the animal prints way more than in the summer and spring and fall.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're a tracker and you could find those little, like, you know,
Mud
the
prints.
differences, right?
You can clearly see it.
Yeah, like the ruffled leaves or the mud print, like that's kind of easier, but the snow is so easy, right? Like it's pretty amazing and you can kind of tell whether it's fresh or not fresh. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's why we're glad to have someone like you doing this because, I mean, like with what you said, with kids coming through your program, there's a lot of kids that aren't getting that chance to get out with nature and, like you said, learn to respect it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's awesome that you're doing that because maybe there'll be a lot more people learning that we need all of this and it's a good thing to have.
Yeah,
Go
absolutely.
out there, enjoy it.
Well, and
respect
even like
it.
I see in our society too, like a lot of parents are starting to try to get their kids off the electronics more and outdoors, going into nature. Even our school systems are trying to give more of an outdoor program going on. I mean, we actually changed our daughter from Catholic school that was like 4 houses away from us to a public school that does amazing outdoor programs. So my daughter who's in grade 3 and now my son who's in JK, both of their classes actually spend like the first 2 hours of class outdoors in a forest.
Wow.
And it's
awesome.
pretty amazing how much like exercise they're getting, how much they're learning about nature. And like I was even telling my wife the other day, I'm like, I want to take our kids out into nature because time is crazy. We don't give enough time for certain things. And I haven't taken my kids out into our little forest in a while. And I'm like, I want to take them out there now that they've been doing their program because they'll be looking at different things than I will be when we're on that nature walk. Where before I was like pointing everything out to them. They're kids, they're still curious, so they're still looking at different things. But now they're being trained to like look at the ground and like check every little thing out or in the trees and the leaves and all that kind of stuff. So I almost want to learn from them.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like I would be more when we're walking out in nature, I'm kind of looking like at the distance and seeing if there's any dangers and like any animals out there kind of thing, right? And like, not to say all animals are dangerous. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're looking out for different things, being aware of your surrounding while the kids are playing and focusing on those little things in front of them, right? In the mud, jumping in the mud, like
Living
that
in the
kind of
moment.
stuff, right? But it was really cool that like we found a school here in Orangeville,
Yeah.
Credit Meadows, who does an amazing outdoor program.
Awesome.
And they have so grade 3s, the 2 grade 3 classes, they're in a separate building. It's called the Lodge.
Huh.
And then their teachers, I forget the teacher's name. If you ever go into that school, right away there's a bench once you enter the front doors, and it's dedicated to the teacher who pretty much created the outdoor program.
Cool.
And she's mentored a couple of teachers there now, because I think that lady is retired, but there's a couple other teachers who run their outdoor program, and they do a lot of fun activities out there, and they just learn in nature. And yeah, it's amazing. And I think we need way more of that. Like that, I see is a big part of where our school system should go.
Yep.
And then even like you always see like the fundamentals of life being taught more than your algebra, you know what I mean? And stuff that very few people need in their life when they're adults is like, how to do their taxes. Not so much, about some other stuff, whatever, I won't pick it apart too much, but But yeah, I mean, our school system needs to evolve, right?
100%.
Into the times. And I mean, we all need to realize that nature is really our biggest thing to help us in our lives. It's something that is like our medicine. Best way to put it is it's natural therapy. It's our medicine that we need it. We need to get out there more often, not be so fearful of, the coyote that we spotted. I mean, sure, there's different animals that can be like nuisances to us in different ways, but it's something to be respected, not feared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, get outside. Like, they're gonna run away from you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get outside. And I mean, even me, I take my kids out for walks all the time. I never see them. I want to see them. I'm one of the guys who wants to like see them, right? Like, not surprise them up close, but I do want to, like, I love seeing animals in nature. Like, love it. Seeing owls, the birds of prey are so cool watching.
Oh, yeah.
Like, another big thing, like, anytime we're at our youth fishing league, and I like, even just anytime, but we've seen it a couple of times where we're at Ken Willans on Highway 10, Credit Valley Conservation Area with our youth league, and we're fishing off the dock. All of a sudden, you see the osprey circling, and you see it kind of slow up in one spot and start dive bombing into the water, picking up fish. And it's like, that's the coolest thing ever. Like, I'm always like, guys, look, it's gonna dive. Like, I get excited. Like, I'm one of the kids, man. Right? Like, but that kind of stuff is so amazing. Like, even
it's awesome to see.
even like one of my favorite fish stories, I have to tell it now, but me and 3 of my buddies, bass season opener, we went up to a trailer that I used to have on Crow Lake, and we were fishing, catching a few, having fun, being out in the sun, and I saw something swimming in the water. I was like, what the heck is that? So we scooted over there with the electric motor in the canoe, got really close to it, and was like, oh my God, it's a porcupine swimming in the water. And we were like maybe 3-4 feet from it. Like, we weren't disturbing it. Like, we weren't trying to poke at it.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get it close. I had my GoPro, so I was filming it. And it was funny because to me, this is the story. It looked over at me and it was like, hey, buddy, what's up, man? Do you know who I am? And I looked over at it and I was like, yeah, man, don't worry. I'm not here to pick any battles with you. I just want to say what's up. And then it kept swimming. Like, it didn't even slow down or turn towards us to nothing. It just literally just kept chugging along. But it was one of the coolest things ever because I've never seen or even heard of a porcupine swimming in the water.
No.
I have like my theories about it, but like, you know what I mean? Who cares? It was in the water chugging along and I saw it. Like, it was so cool. Like, we all saw it. And it was like,
awesome.
yeah, one of those things, I was just like, I was out fishing. It was my fish story, So, yeah.
Yeah, no, you always get to see cool stuff out there.
So just to wrap it up, what would be the best way to contact you? Whether it's people wanting to get in touch with you for the SAFE program, ambassadors, kids wanting to be part of the youth league?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's our email. You can go to our website, www.fishingfrenzy.com, and it's friend with a ZY. So fishing friend with a ZY. That's how you spell our company name. And so our website, it's up there. We want to do some changes to it, but regardless, that's how you can contact us. We have our kids club sign up right on our website.
Awesome.
So you could sign up, put your email address in there, and we'll shoot off some email newsletters to you. We've got one coming out very soon about Christmas time.
Nice.
So we got some gift certificates that you could give your kids for our youth fishing league. So you can
awesome.
purchase them, and we'll send you a personalized gift certificate from Fishing Friendzy for a youth fishing league, right?
Nice.
So it's a great way for stocking stuff for under the tree. Social media,
Yeah.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So Fishing Friendzy, same way spelled. And then even for like companies who want to sponsor or get involved in what we're doing, there's a lot of sponsorship opportunities, ways we can advertise and market for you at our exhibit, at our youth fishing leagues, or if you want to send someone fishing with us, part of our sponsor fishing experience. So with that program, whatever company wants to sponsor, you can pick if you want to send a vet out or if you want to send a child out. So it's up to you to kind of choose, and then we'll go to the Legion and ask who wants to go fishing, who's able to come with us, and we'll take them out, right? So it's a cool way to get them out fishing. But yeah, if you want to donate to us, even like I said, we are not a nonprofit, but you know what? If you believe in what we're doing and you want to contribute to us and what we're doing, then yeah, feel free to give me an email. My personal email is mike@fishingfrenzy.com.
All right.
So yeah, thanks everybody. And to you two, thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
You guys are doing something awesome too, and I'm glad that we can kind of sit here, chat, collaborate, and become friends. Like, it is awesome.
Thank you.
No, it was great getting to meet you, talk with you. Even the other day when we got to talk to you, you're a great person. I mean,
thank you.
I hope nothing but the best for you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you again for giving us your time.
Awesome. Well, let's go fishing one day.
All right.
Yeah. I'm down. I'm not even a fisherman. So awesome. Thank you. All right, that's it for this week's episode of Dufferin Spotlight on Business, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Mike for taking the time to help us out with our show. Rob and I had a great time. And of course, thank you to our listeners. The best way to get in touch with Fishing Friendzy is to go through their website or check out their Facebook or Instagram page. The easiest way to keep up with their show is to follow or subscribe wherever you prefer to listen. We are currently available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. Of course, you can find all of our episodes and more on our website, Dufferin'sSpotlight.ca. If there's anywhere else you'd like to see us, please let us know through our website, and we'll do our best to get on it. If you haven't had a chance to check out our last episode, it was with Paul Hensberger of Let Me Out Escape Rooms. That's right, we have an escape room in Dufferin. Check out the episode to find out more. It's a good one, so I hope you enjoy listening. Until next time, get to know your community and shop local.